Everyone.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening. Yeah. So in the last class we have started technical SEO, right? We couldn't finish the technical SEO. So which we'll be covering today. Yeah. Anybody has questions with regard to any of the topics that we have discussed in the previous classes? Everybody? You all can hear me, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. No questions, so then we'll continue. Okay. So in the last week, we were exploring the data of couple of tools, correct? Couple of tools like GT metrics, tools.pingdom, correct? And Google page speed insights. Everyone, do you all remember?
Yes.
So I'd love to hear from all of you. What do you know about this technical SEO, or what all these metrics that you see on this tools? So you all must have seen the terminologies like page request, correct number of page requests, page size. So it is easier to understand all of those things, right? Page request and the page size. Anybody has questions with regard to page request and the page size?
So,
Yes,
go ahead.
that means.
So, I wanted to check that. The main thing to understand was how do we reduce the page size?
Yeah, we'll be discussing those things today.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So first thing to understand how do we reduce the page size, you have to understand how the page is built first of all, right? So why does the page size go up? Correct. So these things will help you to understand or figure out the ways to bring it down. Okay. So in the last class, I was explaining to all of you that page size can go up when you have heavy JavaScript files, when you have heavy CSS files, when you have heavy images on your website, right? So today I'll discuss the most common reason or the cause for the heavy file sizes is usually the images. So if you look at any website, there will be too many images. Let me take some website. Look at this. This website has so many images. Are you all able to see it? It will be very high. The page size also will be very high. Right? So there are multiple methods. Even whether you have got fewer images or too many images on the website, one of the first criteria or the requirement or action item from your side is reducing the size of the image. Let's say image is 1 MB. Do not upload images of such a heavy size, such so big images. So always prefer to keep the images less than 50 KB. That is the first requirement. So these tools will help you understand which image is of heavy size, which image is of small size. We'll look into it. And second, the most important implementation is CSS sprites. There is something called as CSS sprites. Look at this page size, 46 MB, and it's still running. Number of requests is 207 and 12.28 seconds is the load time. An example of how the huge sizes. See, people may have never realized that their website is this huge. The biggest disadvantage is this is built on WordPress, and you have limited options. See, however, the image sizes are too big because the images are too big. me. So here you will see the details. Okay, here it is not serving. Usually you will get to this tool, the paid version of this tool will help you understand the percentage. So what is the total? 46.7 MB, right? So of this, 46 MB will be images only, 46 MB images only. Maybe if we use, so look at this image is 559 KB, and if I download any other image from this place, save images, 12.5 MB. The biggest culprit is this image alone is 12.5 MB. Are you all able to see this? Do you all see that 12.5 MB? Are you able to read this number?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
See, it don't have to be 12.5 MB. It's not even 1 MB, it's 12.5 MB. So I am suggesting here the images have to keep below 50 KB, and it's not even 500 KB, it is 12 MB or beyond that. So straight away getting these images redesigned to the smaller sizes might reduce your page size significantly, which might come down to 2 MB or 1 MB, right? So or maybe it might come down to 2 MB. Now why is it 2 MB? 2 MB, it is 2 MB because you can reduce the file sizes to, let's say, 200 KB, 300 KB, 50 KB, 70 KB. But overall their website has too many images. Too many images. And that's how the number of requests are also is going to 207. Too many images. Right, so now what we do is, there is something called as CSS sprites. So you all must have seen the Google photos, right? Google Collage. Google shows your memories, it picks all the photos and puts into one photo and shows it as a collage, correct? Are you all following me, everybody?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Are you all able to relate, understand what is Google Collage?
Yes, sir. The mixing of multiple photos, the collage which we create.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes, correct, correct. So there is something, there is a similar concept here, but the beauty is, see now collage or collage, whatever, if you are sending, it is all photos at one place, correct? All combined at one place, correct? Now here, you will have all the photos combined at one place, but when you are serving the images, you can serve one image from the combined list. You can put one image here, one image here, one image here. So you can pick the images. So let's say you want 10 of your friends are in the college, right? From that, your photo can be shown in the top, and your friend's photo can be shown here to the left side, and somebody else's photo can be shown here. Are you all getting it? So though it is one single image consisting of so many, still you can pick and display at different places on the web page, which is called as CSS sprites. Clear? So this is not done by you. This is usually done by web developers. CSS sprites. And you all understood what is CSS sprites?
Sir, can you explain again? I'm not very clear.
Yeah. So CSS sprites is basically what you do is, so you will figure out all the images of this web page, all the fixed images of this web page. So now all the images might come to a list of 200 images. Correct? 1 image, 2 image, 3 image, 4 image, 5 image, correct? 6, 7,
Yes.
8, 9, 10, like this. It might come to 100 images. Let's say it might come to 100 images. So now basically you are sending a request to server, and server is sending 100 files back to your browser, correct? So I don't want it to be happening. So what I'll do is, I'll ask our graphic designer, give me all these images in one single image. I don't want 100 files I want only one file, one image. You put everything into one image. Your graphic designer will give you one single image. He is going to combine all these 100 images to one single image. Okay. Now from this one single image, so all this website will show only one single image. Now it's not going to be 100 images. And the beautiful aspect of it is you are showing images at different places, not at one place. That implementation is called as CSS sprites. So you are going to upload only one image which has all of them into a single image, like a collage. And now you are going to display the image like 100 people photos are there. Person 1 will be displayed here, person 2 will be displayed here, person 3 will be displayed here, person 4 will be displayed here. Are you all getting it? That implementation is called as CSS sprites.
Sir, can you spell that price? It's price, Price.
Sprites,
Is that?
CSS sprites. CSS
Okay.
sprites.
Image sprites. Okay.
Yes. So usually this will be taken care by your website developers. Okay. Maybe I'll add it here for everybody's convenience how they are implemented. Okay. So we compress the content. So now this is WordPress website. So on WordPress website, again you have to go with the custom. See, now these implementations are very easy when it's a custom built theme or custom built website. On WordPress website, it becomes quite difficult to implement. We might have to search CSS. No, this will still needs a custom implementation. On WordPress, it's difficult to implement. I mean, it's difficult in the sense for digital marketers, it's difficult. Again, you have to hire the website developers to customize or change the theme or implement all of them on your website. Right? Now, so now let's assume we have implemented CSS sprites and have brought down the size to 2 MB or 1.5 MB. Correct? And further, if you want to reduce the size, you have to combine the CSS and the JSS files. So Control Shift U, Control F dot CSS. See, these are called as external CSS file. See now how many CSS files are there? 46 CSS files are there. Now to handle, so you all know the CSS is something which will beautify your content. So see, this would have probably looked like a Word document. Now if this is properly aligned to the left, to the right, colorful, colors, borders, spacing, everything. See all of this happening through CSS sprites. Sorry, not CSS sprites, it's just CSS, cascading style sheets. Otherwise, this web page would have looked like a Word document. After implementing CSS, this will become beautiful. Now for this page, for this section, there will be one CSS, set of CSS. And now they might have created a separate file and put it on a separate file. And they will, so that they will use it on different pages. Not only this page, they might use the same CSS for about us page or contact us page. So they don't prefer to put it in this page only. See, this is called as something like this. When you put something like this, it's called as inline CSS. But instead of putting in the same document, you will be putting it in a separate file like this, and you will be calling or using this file only everywhere, which is called as external CSS file. And now they have got multiple external CSS files. CSS file for this to handle the design and presentation of this section, to handle the design and presentation of one more section, this section, they must have used one more CSS file. This way, their theme contains 46 CSS files, which you can probably combine and bring it down to 2 CSS files or maximum 4 CSS files. This is again done by web developers. Or you will have to, if you are a WordPress website, if you have built your website on WordPress, you will have to pick a theme that is following all of these design practices. Basically, whatever we are discussing are the best design practices. So usually for our website developers, these are the first things of the checklist list that we give to them. We ask them, okay, so while developing the website, make sure that you are following all the design practices. Did you all understand the CSS files? The combining multiple CSS files to fewer CSS files?
Sir, one question. When we combine multiple CSS files, does it help because we are making less visit to the server?
Yes. So basically, I was explaining, I'm not sure if I have explained you or not. So I was telling you, you have to try to keep this request less than 100. So
Yes.
why is it less than 100 is, so if it is 101, a new connection forms from your server to your browser. So it is something like this, a bus can carry only 50 people in a bus. The moment it is 51, you'll need to have new bus, one more additional bus. I'm not speaking about the typical Indian mindset or Indian scenarios. Even if there are 30 more people, they will fit it in the same bus. Correct? They will make them sit
Yes.
on top of the bus. Correct? Make everybody stand and they will fit 100 people also. Correct? But then if they have to follow the guidelines or rules and bus capacity is only 50, now what happens the moment it is 52?
Another bus is required.
Correct. Now so much of resource is used, petrol, fuel, whatever, diesel, fuel, driver, time, right? It's getting doubled basically. So here what happens is beyond one connection, there will be a connection. If this website is opening here in your browser, it is coming from your server to the browser through a connection, HTTP connection. And now for every 100 requests, there's one connection formed. And the moment you exceed 100 requests, a new connection is formed. Got it? So whenever a new connection is formed, every connection takes few seconds, let's say 1 second or 500 milliseconds. The moment another new connection is formed, see now let's assume this is forming three new connections, 207 for every 100 requests one connection, 200 two connections and 7 three connections. And if each is taking 1 second, so these requests itself have led to 3 seconds, correct? So that is why bringing down the number of requests to your server is very, very important. The moment you bring this down, you might see it going from 12 seconds to 10 seconds. So when it is kept less than 100 or less than 50, this might come down further, let's say 8 seconds. And now by reducing this file size to 2 MB, it might come down to 5 seconds. This you have improvised and this, see basically whatever you are trying to do to improve the page size also might improve the number of requests. Clear how reducing the requests will improve the performance, load, speed? Deepthi, is your question addressed?
Yes, my question is addressed, sir.
Okay.
I'm clear.
Yeah. So now your web page has multiple CSS files. So we will combine and make it fewer CSS files. So that, see, will you carry one bag to the vegetable supermarket, vegetable shop, or you will carry 20 bags for potato one bag, for tomato one bag, chili one bag? No, right? So if you have to carry 20-30 bags, think of how chaotic it's going to be to carry. Now same way, there are so many CSS files which are carrying different CSS that is used on this page. So it's suggested to combine and make fewer requests. 46 CSS files can be combined to only 6 CSS files. Maybe the segregation fruits, vegetables, that segregation is 2 bags. Now instead of 40 bags, you're making it to 2 bags. All vegetables into one, all fruits into one, all easily smashable, perishable, another bag probably. Maximum 4 bags, not 40 bags. Right? So same way, there will be external and internal JavaScript files as well. And now
Sir, possible can you show me some website it is already implemented? Is it possible?
Yeah.
And sir, I had one more question. So when we are combining the CSS files, because there are many external CSS files which we are using. For example, this website is using the WordPress CSS files.
Right.
Then how do we combine? Meaning in one file we put the link to all those external files?
No. The CSS, see, this is again done by the developers.
Hmm.
You will get all the CSS to different files. They have to change their. See now, this there is a fault with the design practices itself. The code itself has a problem. So if you ask them to combine, they will feel it as a headache. Even the WordPress, the person who has built this theme, even
Yes.
somebody who knows customization. See, that is why on internet you must have read people using WordPress themes. They will suggest use better themes, good themes. What is this good in the sense? Good in the sense nothing, but it's not looking the colorful. Good in the sense following all of these practices. So now your web developers, if it's a custom built website, your web developers will know how to bring it down. They will, yes, they will bring CSS of 46 files or 56 files to fewer files. They will plan the grouping. So if you have to group the school students, will you group all enemies, people who has good rapport with others, or bad rapport? So you try to figure out, right, who will gel well with the other person, right? So same way they try to bring in the CSS. That's a very big headache actually. It's not that easy. WordPress, so whatever is, whether it is WordPress or custom built, there will be certain amount of headache in bringing down all of that CSS to fewer files.
So this external CSS file only present in header section.
No. Yes, only in header. Only in header. So you were asking me to show me another website which has got good load times.
Yes, if suppose some website is already implemented this, I will want to see.
CSS sprites are not implemented on this website, but then JavaScript, CSS, too many CSS files are all been reduced. So you see, if you see the external JavaScript files also in this, there are 59 external JavaScript files. .js. See, this is the JavaScript. And now it is suggested to bring down this to fewer files, let's say 5. Automatically, see, this JavaScript and CSS itself is 110 or 120 requests. It's not even images. Images maybe some 80 or 90. So we'll see how many images are there. PNG, 102 PNG images. You see that, everybody?
Yes.
PNG images, 102 PNG images. 102 PNG images and 120 CSS and JSS requests. Right? This is showing as 8.46 seconds because CSS sprite is not implemented. Some maybe GT metrics. We'll see this one only. Yeah. See, number of requests here it is 36, correct? Everybody? And page size is 464.4 KB. But still the load time is high. Why is that so? What is the problem? So optimization could be the problem. One of the files optimization, see image, look at this here. It is 25.9 KB image size, script 406 KB. Do you all see that? And now here, this is not displaying the data. So it usually shows like this, content by size. So here there are optimization suggestions. We'll discuss them as well. If you look at this script, only 406 KB. Image, HTML is very less, CSS is 13.9 KB. So this website is very heavy, probably looks like it did not want it to load all of that. Response codes, content, response codes also it did not load. Look at this. And next is content size by content type. page itself is not loading properly. Okay. Yeah. You see here request only 36 and page size 564 KB. Why this load time has a problem? We'll discuss them. GT metrics or maybe the other places. Clear? 207 requests. Clear? How to bring down the page size and number of requests we have discussed. So to reduce the number of requests, implement CSS sprites, combine external CSS files to fewer CSS files, correct? Combine multiple JavaScript files, external JavaScript file to fewer JavaScript files, right? All of this will reduce the number of requests, correct? Did you all understand? And these implementations also will reduce the page size. Clear, everyone?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Now coming to the load times, these two things improve the load time significantly, but not really always. Right? There are a couple of other implementations which can help improve your load times. Server side optimization, or maybe even before that, I will tell you a few other things. Maybe compressing the content. Compressing the content. So now this content is coming from the server to the browser, which is coming as it is. That is 43 KB, 46 MB, not KB, 46 MB content. So now if you are doing the same thing on your Gmail, what happens? It will be compressing, right? Will you be able to attach heavy files on Gmail?
No.
Or any other way or medium of sharing the content, it usually asks to compress it, correct? So same way, there is a method or a mechanism where you can compress the content that is coming from your server to the browser. We are going to add couple of instructions to the server to compress and send, right? So how do we do that? So again, that is a bit technical in nature. So to compress the content, yeah. So gzip the files through htaccess files. Simply you have to copy this code and you have to paste it in .htaccess file on your Linux server. So if I have to demo you how to do that, I actually did it for one of the websites in the recent times. I'll do it again for other websites. Do you all see the screen?
Yes.
So now let's take, I want to compress this website. I really have no clue how quick it loads. This has got some images. Two point two MB, 2.3 MB, and the load time is 2.75 seconds. Number of requests is good, 51 only, right? Image itself is leading to 2 MB. If you look at this, are you able to see it? Image is 2 MB. and script is 91.9 KB, CSS is just 58.5 KB. So images are the biggest culprits here, right? Anyways, so what I'll do is I will go to the root directory of this website. Yeah, here it is. So I'll click on the dashboard. I'll go to the place where the content is all hosted. So file manager is like your C drive, D drive, something like that. And this one will be connected to public underscore HTML, will be connected to an internet server. Public underscore HTML indicates your storage space is connected to the internet. Anybody with the address can access. All your content resides here. Now, do you see here HT access? Right? So what I'll do is here, I will copy this code that goes into .ht access file, right? I will paste it here and just save it. That's all. This is called as ht access file. Ht access file is basically a controlling system or an instructional system, like how we add robots.txt to the website. Same way for your server. If you have any commands or instructions, you're going to add them here. This is a bit technical in nature, right? But then you don't have to write any of these codes. You're just writing all of this content, C, mod, CC, Python, include file, HTML, text, CSS, JH, JS, PHP, right? And then include my image. I don't know what exactly this is, but then I am been following this, optimizing the WordPress websites. So if you're using a WordPress website, there are a couple of plugins which will help you. When you click on their settings, automatically this will be installed onto your .ht access file, right? And next, so now what this will do is this will compress the content and send it to the browser. So you carrying 100 kgs and walking, and you carrying 1 kg and walking has a huge difference, correct? When you're carrying such a huge load, the speed or the pace at which you walk will be definitely slower, correct? Everybody? And when you carry a lighter weight, there are good chances that you would walk faster. Same is the case here. When the content that is coming from your server to the browser is heavier, it takes more time, and when you compress it, it takes less time. Clear? To improve the performance or load times, there is something called as setting the expiry headers. Everyone, are you all following me?
Yes.
So did you all understand compressing the content or zipping the content through ht access file? We are just pasting a piece of code on the .ht access file, which will start compressing the content while it is sending it to the browser, which you will not understand. This will also improve the load times, the speed. Okay. Clear? No?
This was for Linux server, right?
Correct. Correct. See, usually all this, what you do is, see, why I'm explaining is, I want even the digital marketers to be in a position to explain or question the web developers. So it's basically their headache. So whatever data you see on these tools, you have to just question about that data. How to optimize them, how to implement them, it's all their headache. Are you all getting it?
Yes.
Yeah. So now next thing, there is one more implementation which can help. Yeah. Yeah, Bhagavati.
After the implementation done, we can able to check by using the tool.pingdom. This
GT Matrix, tools.pingdom, and you can see the data here also. I'll show it to you. Wait, search console, right? Yeah, I'll show you this example. Look at this. Core Web Vitals. You can check that here as well. Tools.pingdom. How many good URLs are there on this website? 272 poor URLs. Zero URLs need improvement because every URL is 5 good URLs. Desktop 277 poor URLs. Good URLs 0. Right, the moment you optimize them, you might see something like this. This is a different website. How many good URLs are there? 254 good URLs, 12 poor URLs, 21 URLs need improvement. 0 poor URLs, 0 URLs need improvement, 287 good URLs. Do you all see that?
Yes.
Open reports. It shows you what is the issues, why are those 12 URLs bad, and those 12 URLs appeared in the recent times. Right? Need improvement. INP issue, LCP, so largest content point. So this all seem to be some blog posts. Let's see. This is homepage only. Next point, INP is immediate next point. Interaction to next point. Interaction to next point is an issue that is home page. So this LCP issue has come in the recent times. Maybe I don't know if there is an image uploaded in the recent times or whatsoever. But you get to see here, right? If there is any real issue, you will get to see them here as well, or you can use tools.pingdom or GTmetrix or whatsoever tool available. Correct? Right? One of the methods to improve the speed is implementing compressing the content or z-zipping the content. It is called as compressing the content or z-zipping the content. So next, one more implementation is setting expiry headers. Setting expiry headers. Again, what we do is we will add set of instructions to .htaccess file. What does this instruction say is, this instruction basically instructs the browser. This instruction, what you add to the htaccess file, instruct the browser and says, suggest the browser, look at this, people are opening this website on your browser, on your computer only, right? So what you can do is, see, this file I am not changing on a daily basis or on a monthly basis or a weekly basis. This is a static file, this is not a dynamic file. So what it suggests is, this piece of code added to the htaccess file instructs the browser, please hold a copy of this image, do not send the request to the server. So whatever is dynamic or whatever you want the content from the server, I will send it to you. Some of the content you don't have to send the request to the server. You can load it from your browser. Your browser will hold a copy of it. See, that's why you must have seen people will ask you to clear the cache and check it. Heard of it, clear the cache? So clear the cache is that particular tool or application is holding a temporary copy of your content. It can be image or it can be anything. So now let's say I have changed this image and now you will open this URL, but still you might see the same image here. Then I will tell you reload it once again or Control Shift or refresh or check it on incognito. Experienced this ever?
Yes, this is caching, right, sir? Caching.
Yes, that is caching. Yes. Caching is nothing but your browser is holding a copy of this URL. So this will load copy of this file and it will not load from the server. This will be loading. This image says, boss, I am not requesting this image from the server. I will quickly load it from the browser and rest of the content might load from the server. This image might load from the browser, and now that loading from the browser will not happen with all the websites by default. It is something that websites owners will define or instruct. They will write something like this. Expiry caching. Expiry activates on. Expires activate on. I can set the expiry to 1 month, 1 year. So this is usually for returning users. You are returning user, you are not visiting for the first time. So if you are coming, if you are a returning user, so this problem is not because of what I have done now. This website is basically, this website has some problem. It's not because of what I have added here. So some CSS file is not loading properly here. That's why it is showing up like this. See, if CSS is not loading, how the page looks like. Do you all see that? CSS is so important
Yes.
to make it look beautiful, aligned, right? Now, in one of the page CSS is loading, we have a replica or copy of this web page. Look at this. The same web page is here. This is what we were seeing some time back, correct? Images are not loaded now. Yeah, they are loaded. You see? Clear? So you are adding a content to compress, right? Your various types of content such as CSS, JavaScript, HTML, images, whatsoever, it compresses and sends to the browser. And second thing is setting expiry headers. Setting expiry headers. You'll be setting the expiry headers where you are instructing to your browser hold a copy of the images with you for a period, let's say 1 month or 1 year. Expires by type image slash jpg, access 1 year. JPEG, access 1 year. GIF, PNG, CSS, HTML, you see all of that. Clear? Any questions with regard to this point?
Sir, but this one will not reduce the request, right? It will only useful for the returning users only, right?
Yes, 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 yes. This is mainly for the returning users. So now think of
Yep.
Amazon or massive websites, millions of requests. See, now you are thinking you are sending only one request to the server, correct? Now there will be 200 requests or 100 requests going to the server. Now you can bring down all of the traffic, right? And for some servers, you will be paying based on the number of requests happening to the server. Number of requests happening to the server. That is all like kind of unwanted traffic. If you are paying 1 rupee per every traffic, every request, now think of how much you should be spending. So here, if you look at this, let's assume this is the actual CSS file. Where it is, yeah. So this is the actual CSS file. But then a question mark, something is all getting added, right? They're all called as query strings, and their code itself is something like that, right? These kinds of requests, there will be many such question marks coming in. They also make up unnecessary traffic to the website. In those cases, that's called as removing query strings in WordPress. Query strings are the multiple versions of the original URLs or resource files, either contain question mark or ampersand in them, and these kinds of URLs are usually not cacheable and would send unnecessary requests to the server for every time they have to serve or render a web page. So when it contains a question mark or ampersand, the browsers cannot hold a copy of it or cannot cache that content. So it is suggested to deal with this, removing the query strings, and that can be done by adding another piece of code to your functions.php. So this will be added to functions.php file on your WordPress.
This is applicable only for WordPress, sir, or all the.
Yes, WordPress only. Yeah. Got it? Any questions? Are you all understanding this? Sorry? Okay. So there are a couple of things that you can do to optimize the speed or make it load quickly. If you are a WordPress website, it is suggested not to install too many plugins unnecessarily. People will start installing a lot of plugins, and all of this might add so much of CSS, PHP code, right? All of that to your website theme, and that will impact a lot. So of course you have to compress the images or videos and upload, host the images and videos on CDN. So how many of you are aware of CDN?
Content delivery network.
Yeah, content delivery network. Okay, what does that do?
But practically how it's work, we not sure.
Practically?
Practically how it's work, need to know, sir.
Okay, I'll explain it, no worries. Okay, so first thing is you have to understand one thing. The website that you are hosting, your website, uh, is hosted on some server located in some country. And now the location of the servers also will impact the speed. The server which is located in Asia, and if the content is hosted in Asian server, your website might load faster because you reside in Asia. If the content is hosted on a USA server, it must be loading quick for people from USA and not really from Asia. And now what the CDN usually does is, the CDN basically takes the copy of your website or content or whatsoever, and it will store at multiple places across the globe. And based on the request from where it is coming, from the nearby server the content is served. So now during summer, if somebody is thirsty, you have to go to a lake and you have to get the water. Correct? There is only one lake in your city, and everybody have to go to that lake when people are thirsty. But people are scattered across the city, correct? They are not really around the lake always, correct? What will you do now? You will have lots of borewells everywhere across the city, so that whenever you are thirsty, you will turn on the motor and you will pump the water from there. Are you all getting this example? So now it's really not taking so much time for you to get a glass of water, which is very quick, immediate. You will just put a, you will just take the water from the well nearby. CDN exactly does something like that. CDN takes a copy of your website or content of your website to its server, and it spreads across its network, where content will be loaded from the nearby servers. If I am from Mumbai and requesting for your website, if I have opted for CDN services or implemented CDN, my website content for somebody using from Mumbai will load from the nearby Mumbai servers, or basically the CDN works that way, right? So that way the website would load quicker, quick. Got it? Okay, now when you're hosting images on CDN, the images will load from nearby, and additionally you will not have any additional load on your server. CDNs will be actually faster as well. Got it?
So can you give an example of CDN? Like, is it like AWS or what it is?
CDN, one second.
So when we say that, we should put our images on CDN.
So basically, CDN, you don't have to do anything. You have to sign up an account with CDN, and they will give you the configuration details, how to configure CDN with your servers.
Oh, okay. CDN
Okay.
itself is a tool kind of thing.
Yes, server kind of thing. So where you will be configuring, and automatically it takes all of your content and it spreads to various other servers through across its network. Right? Cloudflare is one example. Heard of it? Cloudflare? Akamai's Cloudflare.
Yes, Cloudflare I've heard.
See,
I think
Akamai, Cloudflare,
also.
CloudFront.
Cloudflare is free also.
I'm sorry, Cloudflare?
It's free also. It does not charge.
No. Free, there is a free version, but it might not suffice for everybody.
Okay.
Not for all the options or the features. There are different kinds of content delivery options, right? So you'll have to go with the paid version for your website mostly. The free version may not suffice. Okay, understood?
So,
Okay. So yeah, these are some optimization methods. So whatever I have discussed are mostly for a WordPress website, and the majority of them are applicable for any website. Implement lazy loading. So these are all tips. Like when you open a website, instead of loading everything upfront, as the scroll, you can load the web page. That is called as lazy loading. Implementing lazy loading for images or other types of content would be really helpful. You can load all the content on this page, but images and all you can load it slowly as people scroll through the page. Not only images, it can be videos, JavaScript, or certain other components or elements of the page, right? So there are various techniques that way which you can adapt and improvise the performance of your website. See, if your website is built on WordPress, there are a couple of plugins like auto optimize and optimize. Use auto optimize and optimize some of the technical aspects of setting of cache or expiry headers, right? Instead of auto optimize, you can see now what auto optimize does. Instead of downloading that plugin, I have suggested, I have directly copy pasted that piece of code to the htaccess file. So if you don't know how to do that, if you don't know what all has to be done, auto optimize can help you deal with that. Clear? And now there will be server side optimization as well. Server, how the request is sent from your server to your browser. So for example, on the website, if I'm searching for especially to the events websites, any website you take up, so if somebody is loading the date where they will see all the dates, previously published dates, all will be, they might have been storing all the data also on the server. And now to display the upcoming dates, they might run a query of all the past 1 year dates also, which will impact on the load times. To serve this one date, they might run a query. See, basically all this data is coming from database. For all the dynamic websites, the data is sitting on the database, and from database it is rendered and displayed on the front end. And while bringing from the database, they can simply say, they will simply ask, send the dates, the most recent dates. They can write a logic which can give the most recent dates directly or their logic or communication or the query will be such a way to the database where to send the recent dates they read the complete database, and that becomes an infinite loop, never ending loop, and that will also impact the load times and performance of the website. Did you all get it? Did you all understand, guys?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay.
But then, how do we make sure that developers are not doing that?
Developers are?
Like, the developers are not.
So you will see.
When they are writing the queries, they are writing optimized correct queries.
Correct. So it's quite difficult for a digital marketer to understand, but then you have clues or hints to understand those things. One is checking under core web vitals and see all the optimization. So you might see everything is optimized here. All of this will show in green color, optimized, but your load times will be still very high. Definitely there will be an issue, and one more indication, definitely there will be an issue with how data is rendered. Okay, so there was an option which is not available now. Earlier we used to check the cached version from Google, cache colon, it used to give a copy how it looks like what Google is holding. Now it is no more available. We had a way or approach, that is one way or approach. When you type cache colon, Google gives the information of the page how they see. They used to not load certain sections of the page, definitely, and that's the culprit. And you can see that here as well. You see settings, go to the settings and go to the crawl stats. The response time will be significantly high in those cases. When you ask your developer about the speed or optimization, they will show you the report like this. See, look at this, it is loading in just 2 seconds, right? But then here when you look at this, the average response time will be very high. Let's say some 5000 milliseconds. 5000 milliseconds is 5 seconds. The average response time has to be less than 500 milliseconds for the very well optimized website. And even if it is loading in 200 milliseconds, that's great, amazing. You have to aim it between 200 to 500 milliseconds, and above that is definitely very problematic. It's not really well optimized, and the query is not happening properly from your, see, 4047 milliseconds, and it has improvised in the recent times for different reasons, right? 2000 milliseconds. So this was 25,000, no, 48,000 milliseconds earlier. So this is from a platform which is very much similar to Shopify. You all must have heard of Shopify, right? Same way Store Hippo. So their load times, sorry, the server response time is 48,000, 25,000 milliseconds. It's clear indication that there is some issue with the server optimization of the configuration or how it is getting queried. See later, see, look at this 5.61. See, it was very high, 13,389 milliseconds. I don't know if you are able to read this number or not. The orange peaks, you see, and later also it is 5,267. See, there are so many email threads or communications. So we deal with all of these as well. This is again something like Shopify, I'm telling you, right? And that company, see, look at this, 46,261 milliseconds, and later it came to 20.4. Hello. Hello. So good evening. No, 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 tomorrow, sir. I have sent it in the group to everybody. I think you are invited to group but not join. not today, not today, tomorrow. Sorry, sir. I thought you were maybe. So you see that it is 46,000, right? Do you all see that? And the average is 20,000 milliseconds, correct? And see, this is also impacting your server, errors are going up. So website, whenever you open as a real user, it will be always loading for you. But then when you see your server errors, you will see a lot of 500 server errors. And look at this, largest content point, first input delay. Look at this. Right, so this is all dealing with the technical SEO. Technical SEO is not that you're going to code. So technical SEO is all about you need that understanding how to read the data, what does it mean, how do we fix it. So this is what as a digital marketer you can understand or fix or work on it. How much it is now? 1.73k, correct? You see that this is trendy paper only. Yeah. So there is something fishy. I am not telling that you will be able to understand exactly how the query is happening to the DB, but then you should be able to speak about this problem and take it to them. You will see a lot of timeouts, server errors, response errors, a lot of them happening here as well. So something I have seen, witnessed it. The moment all those are addressed, suddenly the website will start picking up. They'll have very good number of impressions, clicks, traffic, everything. Clear? Any questions?
Sir, I had one question. Now, the videos, like if we put videos on the page, and if we put a YouTube link, we put where to actually have YouTube videos on our page, which one is better?
So whether you put a video or
Directly
link,
put a
yeah,
video
yeah,
on the
yeah.
server and pull that video on your page
Both works the
from the
same
server.
way. Both works the same way. Both works the same. See, your video is not really sitting on your web page; it is sitting on your server. So in
Yes,
the storage, correct? So
yes.
now the problem is when you are loading the video by default when somebody visits the page, you should not be doing that. On click load. On click load will not impact your web page performance or page size.
Okay,
Okay. So if you are directly loading the video when somebody visits the page, then that might impact your load times.
okay, okay.
Yeah.
Sure, sure, sure.
Yeah. So exactly the same. The screenshots I have pasted every screenshot and links as well, reference links as well here in the notes for everybody's reference. Okay. So this one especially for the websites which are running ads, right? So I'm not discussing that part here. Okay. So with this, see mainly it's all about understanding data from these tools. Whatever I have pasted, GT metrics, Google Search Console, tools.pingdom, page speed insights, all of them gives different insight. It's the same thing again, right? You should be able to read the data and understand what it all means. That's when you will be able to perform. Yeah. So I told you some terms, right? LCP, FCP, correct?
Yes.
ICP, right? So what does they mean is LCP is the largest content point. Largest content point. Point is nothing but here time taken to load. So instead of using that language on servers, we are using they are using the language LCP, FCP. So LCP is largest content point. It's the total time taken to load the largest component on your web page. On your web page, a video can be the largest component, correct? Image can be the largest component, correct? Everybody?
Yes.
Right? So now it is giving a tool is telling the time taken, or it can be a JavaScript, or it can be any component. The total time taken to load the largest content point, the time taken to load the largest component on your page is the largest content point. It's called as largest content point, right? And now this largest content point can load first or second or anywhere, correct? Any instant, any sequence, correct? First you might load this image, second it might load this image, third it might load this image, correct? And this one is the largest. Let's assume this is the largest image, and now this report is telling the largest content point on this image is taking 3 seconds. Address it. It has to be 200 milliseconds, not beyond 200 milliseconds. Address this. So what will I do now? This is the largest image I understand, which is 12 KB, 12 MB. I will bring down the size of this to 200 KB, and my LCP also will improve. Right? There is something called as FCP. FCP is the first content point. So when somebody comes onto my web page, let's assume this is the first image loaded. Right? So the first content point also has to be less than 200 milliseconds, and if this is taking more than 200 milliseconds, so it has to be addressed. Instead of telling first image, second image, or bigger image, smaller image, we are using a different language, largest content point. It's not about images actually, it can be any content or any component, any optimization on the web page. It can be a JavaScript file, it can be an image, it can be a video, it can be a CSS file, right? It can be anything, right? So cumulative layout shift, CLS, cumulative layout shift. Cumulative layout shift has to be less than 0.01 seconds. So the time taken for the people to move from one section to the other section is the cumulative layout shift, and the experience that they go through in the shift is the cumulative layout shift, and it cannot be beyond 0.01 second. It is suggested to be 0.00, and the moment it is 0.202, it is a bad cumulative layout shift score. Not really anything big problem, but it's scope of improvement. That is cumulative layout shift. Usually,
sir, once to other section means exactly how, sir?
Google.
You told that one section to other section. If the user go to one section to other section, so how it like a button if you are clicking like that?
Okay, how does these tools know? What is your question, Bhagwati? How does Google know?
Yes. Yeah. No, sir. No. The CLS, you mentioned that the interaction between the first section to the next section, right? This session.
The moment from section to the section, right? So they will be reading. See, now your web page is built in HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, right? So based on those components, reading about those components, the algorithm will be able to understand. Right? So we don't know how really it measures or understands the cumulative shift, but you will be able to see the data or suggestions here. The last class also I was showing you Scale Up Consultants and Agile Spark compared. Agile Spark showing cumulative layout shift of 0.02, whereas Scale Up Consultant was 0.00. It was in green. Got it? So here it is showing as a see here you see cumulative layout shift 0, green color. Total blocking time, TBT's total blocking time. Total blocking time is 107 milliseconds. So a component on your page blocks loading other components on the web page, and which is 107 milliseconds. It's good. It is less than 200 milliseconds. So now these tools, Google Page Speed, will help you to fix how to fix all of these things. Here this tool also will help you how to fix all of them if you scroll through it. Google Page Speed is the best. You don't have to go with any other tools. It suggests the fix also. I have shown it to you in the last class. Do you all remember?
Yes, yes.
No, they will don't check. There is no necessity for them. There is no purpose. So when digital marketers start working on object, they will start addressing. So it's clearly showing for mobile it is failed. For desktop it is pass. LCP, INP, interaction to next point. So you will get the answers when you click on this. You will be able to read more about it. It is loading here. Otherwise, so you see here what has to be done. It is suggesting. All these are very much technical in nature. See, now your job will be just focusing on asking them to improvise these metrics. That's your main responsibility as a digital marketer, right? It's not that you should not be learning these things. It needs certain amount of technical understanding. You should be able to understand what does all this mean, or is this really important for you to understand all of this. It's something which you should be able to understand when they speak at least. It's not that you will be implementing it all by yourself. You won't be able to implement this. Clear?
Yes.
Okay. So with this, yeah, Bhagwati, you might have more questions with regard to technical SEO. Anything else? Interaction to next point is how much time it is taking to interact with the next component on your web page. This is layout shift, cumulative layout shift is, so it should not look like a complete like odd experience from one layout to another layout, no correlation, no proper flow. That is cumulative layout shift. Okay, so focus on the search console data as well. You will get to see a lot, you will get to understand a lot from that as well. Okay, so with this we are done with the technical SEO as well. So you might have to start looking data into these tools, and if you have any questions we'll be discussing them again, right? So next what is left is off page backlinking thing, but backlinking thing I'll be discussing later. I'll discuss about the Google ads from the next class. Everybody, what do you all say?
So we'll be covering backlinking next class, right? Backlinking.
No. Backlinking we will discuss, but not from the next class. Maybe we'll immediately start Google ads, and then we will come back for the backlinks once we are done with the Google ads.
Okay, sir.
Yeah.
Okay.
So some of them are requesting to get started with the Google ads, and yeah, okay.